Hey everyone, Lucas Prime here, and I have just finished watching the final ever episode of Game of Thrones. So I thought now will be a perfect time to do a review of this final season of the show. So warning guys, this does include major spoilers for those who've not seen it. So if you've not seen it, unless you want to be spoiled, I suggest you get off this video in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we begin the season with the first two episodes are kind of like the forces at Winterfell, and also Jon Snow and Daenerys' armies joining forces to fight the army of the dead who have breached the wall, and also have the dragon Viserion resurrected as one of them, led by the Night King. However, Cersei, honestly, as you would know if you watched season 7, does not want to be part of it, and the evil Euron Greyjoy forms a relationship with her as well, which is pretty annoying, and she also orders Bronn to assassinate Jaime and Tyrion for betraying her and joining Daenerys' forces. Also as well, Jon Snow learns from Samwell Tarly his true identity of Aegon Targaryen, the rightful heir to the throne, but he doesn't want it. And as well, Jaime also arrives at Winterfell after leaving King's Landing to join, and he encounters Bran after all these years of pushing him off that tower. He sees what he's done to him. He then joins the Alliance, the Targaryen Stark Alliance, if you will. And unfortunately, though, as everyone's preparing and, proposing to protect Bran because he's a three-eyed raven that actually Night King wants to kill, that's when the Army of the Dead shows up. So, that's not good, really, is it? And this leads to a massive, epic battle on the third episode, too. And yeah, this fight was amazing. Unfortunately, the Dothraki are all murdered completely by the Whites, and the Unsullied are all overwhelmed. And unfortunately, Ed Tollett didn't make it, so I was really disappointed that he didn't make it, because he was a pretty good character, one of my favourites. But he died saving Sam, so he died well. And also as well, Jon and Daenerys do fight the Night King with their dragons, but the fire of the dragons doesn't kill him at all. He's indestructible to the fire. Also, the girl Lyanna Mormont is killed as well, which is really sad seeing her die. Also, Beric didn't make it despite the fact he's been resurrected loads of times, so it was really sad seeing him die for good. They did manage to knock the Night King off Viserion, but, he's still alive. And while Jon goes for him, he brings back all of the dead into Whites. So this outnumbers everyone. Also, there's some people hiding in the crypts as well, but unfortunately because the dead bodies in there, they all get brought back to life as well, so that's not good. And Daenerys is pulled off Drogon by Whites, but luckily Jorah Mormont saves her at the cost of his life. He's mortally wounded and he dies in her arms, which is really sad. The Night King does encounter Bran, but Theon is protecting him, and Theon makes a last stand before getting stabbed by the Night King, so that was really sad seeing him die. I liked Theon. But as the Night King is about to kill Bran, Arya jumps in and stabs him, and this causes him to shatter, and then as a result, the other White Walkers shatter as well, and then all the Whites, including Viserion, drop dead. And that's it. And also Melisandre, after having helped them by lighting fires to delay the hordes, she then dies from her old age eventually. I hated her for what she did to that little girl in season 5, Shireen. The only beef I have with the episode, while the battle was great and the whole story, I just wish it happened later in the series and not too early, really, like as penultimate episode. But yeah, that's it, bye. It was a great battle nonetheless. Then in the next one, after they mourned the dead who've passed away in the battle, basically, Daenerys and her forces want to go to King's Landing to defeat Cersei because she's turned against them. Bronn also turns up to kill Jaime and Tyrion, but he stops them in exchange for the High Garden. Arya also heads off to King's Landing to fulfill her promise to kill the Queen and also the Mountain, with Sandor Clegane, aka the Hound, joining her as well. So, Daenerys and her fleet are heading towards King's Landing on the sail, and Jon's leading the Northern Army towards King's Landing. But unfortunately, Euron ambushes them with his fleet, and he uses his scorpion weapon crossbows to kill Rhaegar the dragon. So I was really sad seeing another one of her dragons die. And the fleet's destroyed, and in the crossfire, Melisandre's captured, and Great Worm is angry looking for her, but he can't find her. So when they get to King's Landing after the attack, Cersei refuses their demand to surrender, and as a result, she orders the Mountain to behead Melisandre. So I was pretty sad seeing her die. She was a good character, but that enraged Daenerys, and as a result, she basically attacks the city the following day after Varys tried to make Jon take it. So she executed him for making Jon try and take the throne, but even though he didn't want it. So she felt he betrayed her. So Drogon burnt him, which was pretty sad, because I liked Varys. So, but Tyrion wants Jaime to enter the city to rescue Cersei and take her away from Westeros to start a new life. He doesn't want his family to die. So Daenerys destroys the Iron Fleet. All of them are massacred by Drogon. And also the city gates are destroyed too, allowing her army to enter the city and seize it. And then the Lannister forces all surrender, but Daenerys goes mad and she attacks the whole city with her dragon Drogon, and he burns the whole city to the ground. It's a massacre. And her allies, including Grey Worm, follow her lead apart from Jon and Tyrion. They're both horrified at what happened. And then when while this is happening, Jaime is in the Red Keep looking for Cersei, but Euron fights him to stop him. And unfortunately, Jaime's feeling wounded, but he does manage to stab Euron fatally and leaves him to die from blood loss. But he's very badly wounded. Sandor then tells Arya to run because it's too dangerous to kill Cersei with the state of the Red Keep because it's on fire and collapsing. So she runs away. And then the Hound encounters Cersei with the Mountain and Quiburn by her side. The Mountain is hell-bent on killing his brother, but Quiburn tries to stop him, but the Mountain grabs him and he flies him, he throws him onto a rock and he bangs his head and dies instantly. That was pretty shocking. And then they fight, and unfortunately, after the Mountain tries to gouge his own brother's eyes out like it's Oberyn Martell in Season 4, the Hound does manage to stab him in his eye. And then he uses this opportunity with the sight he has left to push his brother and himself off the Red Keep, and they fall into the fiery flames below and they both die. That was really sad because I like the Hound too. Jaime does reunite with Cersei as well, but then unfortunately, the way out that Tyrion told them to go through has been blocked by the rubble, and as a result, when it all collapses, they die. That was really sad seeing Jaime die. I didn't like Cersei. I've always hated Cersei since Season 1. She was so annoying and evil. But I prefer Jaime to it. He's much kinder. And he's the only one that Tyrion loved as well, really, because he was the one who helped him get through his childhood, really. And Jon is horrified at what Daenerys has done, so he orders everyone to retreat. And as the city is destroyed, Arya managed to barely escape alive. So after this has happened, Grey Worm is ordering everyone to be captured and executed. And Tyrion unfortunately finds Jaime and Cersei's corpses in the Red Keep ruins, and he's upset. And Daenerys then imprisons Tyrion for high treason because he allowed Jaime to escape to free Cersei. And Daenerys wants to liberate the whole kingdom, but this may involve killing Jon, Sansa and Arya, because she intends to go to Winterfell to liberate that as well. So knowing that she's mad and she can't be stopped unless he has to do this, Jon confronts Daenerys and he kills her by stabbing her. And Drogon goes mad because he sees his mother's death, but he realises that Jon was right in doing so, and rather than burn Jon, he burns the Iron Throne and melts it. And then he carries her body away. We don't see where they go to, it's not revealed. And then they have to decide who's going to be the new king or queen of the North, of the Seven Kingdoms. And then eventually everyone nominates Bran as the ruler of the Six Kingdoms. And Bran then appoints Tyrion as his hand and sentences Jon to working with the Night's Watch again for killing Daenerys, just to appease the supporters because they want Jon dead and to suffer for what he's done for justice. And then Grey Worm and the Unsullied then go for Nath, a place called Nath, I think it's called, yeah. And the council's then reorganised by Tyrion to rebuild King's Landing, so that's great as well. And then in the final moments of the series, Sansa is crowned Queen of the North, which is great. She deserved it. And Arya wants to explore Westeros, so she sets sail. And Jon rejoins Tormund and Ghost, his wolf. Oh, Ghost is cute. And then they leave with the Wildings going north of the wall. So yeah, that's the end of the series. So yeah, I really enjoy this series. It's a massive shame that it's over. I really love Game of Thrones. So yeah, I just wish that battle with the Army of the Dead happened later in the series and not too early. It was a bit premature, if you get what I mean, but it was great. I will say that. And I knew we were going to lose a lot of characters. So I was prepared, but it was pretty sad, really, seeing everyone die, like who I mentioned. So, this was me reviewing Game of Thrones Season 8, so give this video a like, and let me know in the comments what you thought of this season, if you've seen it. Subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all later.